Hello, friends. It's Nick Vargas with the Source LGBT Virtual Center. And today we're bringing back Source Legal Counsel, Richard Burchett, to talk to us about a Supreme Court decision that could have big impacts for the LGBTQ community. So with that, I'm going to welcome back again Richard Burchett. And Richard, how are you doing?
I'm good. Back again.
Hey, so it's been about 4 or 5 weeks since we had you on. And in that time, another important Supreme Court decision has come down. It's about religious exemption. It could impact the prior decision about LGBT people not being able to be fired just for being who they are. Tell us about that case.
That's right. And so just a few weeks ago, we had that Title VII case where the Supreme Court found that firing somebody on the basis of sexual orientation or gender identity was not allowed under Title VII. Unfortunately, we have this decision that came down on the 8th, Our Lady of Guadalupe versus Morrissey Beru, that unfortunately cuts out a little from that decision. And so in this case are actually two cases. These were two different Catholic schools in Los Angeles County where they fired two different or didn't renew the contracts of two different teachers. And those teachers both sued for discrimination. Neither of these teachers was LGBT. One was suing for age discrimination, and the other one was suing on the basis of a disability or disease that she had. And the Supreme Court in this case found that even though neither of these teachers was a religion teacher, that something called the ministerial exception applied to both of them, which basically means that the government does not want to involve itself in matters of church governance. Mm-hmm. And so with both of these teachers, even though neither was a religion teacher, they taught secular subjects at their Catholic K through 12 schools, that there was enough religion involved in each of their jobs that neither of them could sue for discrimination under either federal or state anti-discrimination laws. And so, the major implication here is if you are LGBT and you're teaching anywhere in the country at a Catholic school or a religious school, despite that Title VII case that was a great victory for us, unfortunately, you're not going to be able to sue for discrimination in these instances where you work for a religious K through 12 institution.
So, okay. So let me summarize. So these teachers, they tried to sue for discrimination, not LGBT but just discrimination. And because it was a religious school and their job had enough religion in it, they fall under the ministerial exception and can't sue.
That's correct.
And so, okay, so that makes sense. So does this just apply to schools, or is the ministerial exception, can it be applied to other types of jobs?
That's a great question. And in the dissent by Justice Sotomayor, she was concerned that this could apply to nurses at, Catholic hospitals, and, coaches, that basically the potential reach of this could be quite widespread. However, I think, having reviewed the decision, that Catholic K through 12s and kind of that role that teachers play in, passing along religion and so forth to children is so unique that I think it would be a stretch on this decision to start applying it to like a nurse at a Catholic hospital, for example. And even, I went to a Jesuit law school. I don't think this decision would apply there because our professors were completely secular. There's no prayer. You don't really think of these people with any particular role in passing down a particular faith to those students. So we'll have to see. But kind of now that there's blood in the water, so to speak, I would expect to start seeing cases where, a Catholic hospital or a religiously affiliated hospital fires a nurse saying that the ministerial exception should apply. And so that's how new law will be created from this. So we'll have to see where the court goes now that it has this decision, and it's kind of taken the bottom out from what can be considered a minister for purposes of anti-discrimination statutes.
So, I mean, when I hear this, that sounds kind of scary to me as a gay man, that this religious exemption could, you know, in my job is not such a big deal, but I've worked in orgs where, my supervisor was very religious, or where the founder of the company was very religious, and that's, what I hear you saying is that it could start to be challenged by religious organizations to start other businesses like a hospital, or I don't know, maybe a religious bookstore, whatever that looks like under this umbrella of being owned by a religion. The employees within there, even though they aren't ministers or, passing on the faith, they could be fired because they fall under that ministerial exception.
That's right. And we'll have to see where cases continue to go as, in this era of Hobby Lobby, which was a major decision that found that closely held corporations could deny contraceptive coverage, despite, a universal law as part of the Affordable Care Act that employers had to provide contraception to its employees. That is becoming broader. And so I think that is a cause for concern that with this particular Supreme Court, which seems very sympathetic to religious liberties and religious liberties of not just individuals, but companies, which is particularly troublesome because you could live in a community where, a lot of your employees are employers rather, are religious, or, you can work in medicine and you could live in a community where the Catholic hospital is the only hospital in your community. And so this decision doesn't get there yet, but I think we have to keep an eye on this because this particular court seems very sympathetic to claims of religious liberty.
And that's a lot of people's fear, and that's why, we're all praying for Ruth Bader Ginsburg's health. So
light a candle. Yeah.
I got my candles going. So I know you have a really busy schedule. In the couple minutes we have left, where do you think this is gonna go? What do you think's next for us? What should LGBT people be concerned about?
Well, I kind of already touched on it. We'll probably start seeing test cases come up where you have a Catholic hospital firing a nurse and trying to claim, this exemption. You could have, other religious entities, different types of companies, other closely held corporations, or, sole proprietorships trying to claim this exemption, this ministerial exemption, or somehow claim that because of their religious affiliation, that anti-discrimination laws should not apply to them. And we're going to have to see how the court continues to come down on these cases. But, there is cause for concern right now because the justices, at least the majority that we have right now, appear very sympathetic to this argument.
Well, folks, just another reason to get out there and vote and stay involved and stay active, because these decisions could be long lasting for the LGBTQ community and for
Absolutely.
us, like those teachers who were fired for other reasons. So Richard, any last words for us before we sign off and let you get back to your busy caseload?
I think you already said it perfectly. You need everybody watching this, everybody involved with the Source and organizations just like it. They need to be registered to vote. They need to get out there and vote. They need to be involved in advocacy, because all of these gains that we've made can be taken away with a single court decision. And, presidential elections are important. state all the way down, elections are important because, you know, who's our president is going to determine who appoints the next justice when there's a vacancy on the court. So all of the stuff is incredibly important. And, you know, just like if you are a history teacher teaching at a Catholic school right now and you're gay, any day now your employer can come up to you and say, you know, solely on the basis of you being gay, I don't think you're a fit, and you're going to have no recourse now. This decision didn't have to come down this way. It could have gone a different way, and it would have with a different composition of justices. So that's something to keep in mind, that this is all very, very important.
Yeah, so that's register to vote, get your friends and family to vote, stay involved. And Richard, thank you so much for taking some time with us. We'll be back, and I looking forward to hearing more from you. And also, you have an intern with the Source right now, a legal intern.
That's correct.
He's also working on some stuff. We might get a chance to hear from him. So thank you all for tuning in to the Source LGBT Plus Virtual Center. We will see you real soon. All righty, everybody. Till then, take care. Bye-bye.
Thanks, Nick. You take care.